You are listening to Radio 3ZZZ.
Broadcasting in your language.
3ZZZ.
Melbourne Ethnic Community Radio.
3ZZZ.
92.3 FM. 3ZZZ.
1994. Ray was previously involved with Christian Democratic Party as state president and then state director in Western Australia before becoming national director in 2009. Ray was instrumental in the development of the new Christian political movement, Australian Christians, and is currently nation director for the party. Ray has been married to Del for 39 years and has 2 adult children and 6 grandchildren. Ray brings the combined experience of business, Christian ministry, and family life to his role as national director. He is passionate about defending Christian values in Australia in the political arena. Ray, thank you very much for being with us in the Egyptian program tonight.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And happy Australia Day.
And happy Australia Day to you and all your listeners as well.
Thank you. Ray, let's talk about Australian Christians. It was launched today officially, so the party is actually officially in place. What's the difference between Australian Christians and Christian Democratic Party?
Australian Christians is a new movement trying to unite the Christian vote. We've had a number of different Christian parties and Christian values and family values type parties in the past, including Family First and the DLP, which some of your listeners may be familiar with, and of course Christian Democratic Party, but none of us has really been too successful in the federal arena. We have seen a couple of people elected in New South Wales for the Christian Democratic Party, and we praise God for that, and Family First in South Australia, but nationally we haven't done it all well. So after the last federal election, myself and a number of other people decided we need a better approach to try and unite Christians under one banner and provide an alternative which would be a wider appeal to more Christians so that we might have a more impact at election time.
Okay, from your mission statement or the party mission statement, the first objective is to ensure that Judeo-Christian values remain at the core of Australian culture. Now, is this something that was put in your mission statement because of what is happening around the world, or this is something always been the case?
It's actually always been the case. We believe that the Australian nation and the culture that we have was very directly influenced by the Christian values of the men and women who have come here initially and over the past 2 centuries. And those values have served us very well, not only for Australia, but for any country that's adopted the Judeo-Christian values, and the type of system that we have has prospered and done well. A generally more peaceful and prosperous society. We believe that it's important that we maintain those Christian values, and there's a number of, alternative worldviews that are very prevalent at the moment in Australia and elsewhere in the world that would have us discard many of those values. So we see it as our job to ensure that those values are represented, particularly in the parliaments of this country.
Okay. Does that mean that people will be treated equally? Does that mean that people from other religions apart from being Judaist or Christian, they will not have a fair go? Or just enlighten me, because I think that would be one of the questions once we start to talk about Australian Christians, that they say, okay, you're coming only for Christians. Is that right?
No. The values that Christianity upholds are things like the values which we refer to are freedom of belief, freedom of speech, and freedom of association. And it's important that Australia's always been considered a secular nation, and all religions people are welcome to practice whichever faith, whichever brand of faith that they feel is appropriate, and we believe that should continue. We're certainly, this is not actually a religious movement, it's a political movement, and our whole reason for being is to ensure that we Christians have the right to preach the gospel in its fullness, to tell the whole story, the truth as we believe it, and of course that means others also must have that right. There are some that would want to prevent us from preaching the whole gospel, but we want to ensure that, as we have in the past, we have the right to do that. So it's not really about a religious movement particularly, it's about the Christian values that allows any person to have a belief as they see fit.